I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a detailed look at the EVERGOODS Civic Half Zip 22 liter, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. If you find this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content that helps you travel smarter. Let's dive in. Starting off with the outside of this pack here, we have a couple of updates primarily to the pack material. So this here is a 840D ballistic nylon, and it has a DWR finish. The previous version, actually, which I have here, so this is a bit of an upgrade. This was a 500D nylon, an HT nylon, and so there's a few kind of updates across the board, but this is one of the biggest ones. This material is really, really durable. It feels very strong, and you can see it has a little bit more of like, it's almost like a little bit shinier. You can see I'll pull it up a little bit closer to the camera there if it can autofocus compared to the previous version here, which I know we've got it marked up a little bit from our use case, but it feels really nice. It has a lot of like structure to it, and overall over the course of my testing has held up really well. So I'm going to kind of put this previous version off to the side here so we can focus on this newer one. So in terms of other external features here, we have that same top carry handle. Has not a lot of padding, but it does have structure to it, so it's nice and easy to grab, stays low profile out of the way. And then we have 2 loops on either side where you can attach like a carabiner if you wanted to hang things off of your pack. That is an option as well. And then we have here down a EVERGOODS patch, so you can attach like the high visibility patch or something like that if you wanted to add a little bit of visibility or a little bit of flare to your pack. You can attach kind of any patch there. And then on the bottom, it's hard to see, or at least really you can't see it at all, but there is a little bit of padding here as well. So it is designed to reduce wear along the seams, so you can see on this back panel here, the seams come up a little bit higher. And so when you're setting this pack down, across the board with that extra durability up top, you have extra durability down on the bottom. And then as well with this material, it is a little bit more eco-friendly. They use a process that saves water and energy. So overall across the board, a few minor updates with the pack, but overall more durability. So the harness system is another part of this pack that was upgraded from the previous version. So I'm going to pull this back over here. And you can see already that there are a fair amount of differences just in the actual visibility, or just by actually like looking at it here. And so this is the newer updated version here. This is a updated breathable back panel. They're in the process of integrating these into their packs, and it does help a lot with breathability. So you can see that it has a little bit of a shine to it. So this is like a 3D spacer, and then there's a 50D polyester monofilament on top of it, which is really just a fancy way of saying that this increases breathability for your back. So that was one criticism that we had with this pack. The original version is that it was a little bit, it created a little bit more back sweat, I guess you could say, as you were wearing it, and so that helps a lot with this. And then in addition, they updated the sternum strap as well, so the attachments are a lot more secure. This previous version, we had issues with it kind of coming undone and being a little bit loose, so that helps a lot as well. And then in addition, we have this curved frame sheet, and so that is the same as the previous pack, and it really helps it contour to your back. But that's great to see that still integrated in this pack here, this updated version, and it fits really nicely on very comfortably. When this pack is on is really when you can see that curved shape in action. So it helps keep these straps a little bit more straight so that you don't need the addition of like load lifters or anything like that. And it really keeps it contoured to your back. And in addition to that, with the really padded foamy shoulder straps, it is a really comfortable carry. You can see it comes down a little bit lower on me. So if you have a shorter torso, that may cause a little bit of discomfort. But even so, I can feel it on my lower back, but it's not digging into my lower back. That frame sheet is pretty structured, and so it just kind of feels like it's resting on me, and the longer your torso, the more comfortably it's going to kind of curve to your back. It just might sit a little bit higher than it does on me. first up with the secondary compartments, we'll talk about these water bottle pockets. So we have two, we have one on either side, and they have a lot of depth to them. And what I like about them is I have a water bottle here. This is I believe 16 or 18 ounce, I'm not sure right offhand, but it fits in very nicely and it feels very snug. So there's a little bit of elastic up at the top here with some bar tack stitching to keep it in place, and it lays really flush against the pack. I mean, you can hardly even see them when there's nothing on the inside, but then as you add your water bottle in, it expands out nice and easily and has a decent amount of space to fit a larger bottle. What's also nice about this is that there is a little hole down at the bottom for either of them. So if you put something in here that ends up having like a little bit of extra debris or like some sand or dirt or something gets in there, it's really easy to kind of brush that out so it doesn't all build up in there. So this is really great for that. The water bottles as well kind of will, depending on how big it is, start to cut into that main compartment. You can see it just kind of pushing in there a little bit, but it's not anything noticeable. I found that I wasn't really like struggling for space on the inside when I had a larger bottle in here. So something to keep in mind, but not really a huge issue. So I'm gonna take that and put this over here for right now. And then on the outside as well, we have a top quick grab compartment. So if you're familiar with the previous version, this is going to look really similar to you, and it's really just a nice 3D dump pocket here with a key leash on the inside, nice and secure, very visible, bright, red color. And then in here, I just primarily kept like my wallet and like chapstick or something like that. It's also a really great spot for a phone. So it is a pretty spacious pocket. So I really like that. And then kind of on the outside here, it looks really sleek. It just kind of hides with the rest of the backpack there, but that's really it on the outside. So primarily the function of this with this like half zip, kind of opening in that like horseshoe shape and going around towards the back. Unzipping it is nice and easy to get into that main compartment, and so they kept it really minimal with features on the outside. So let's get on to the inside. So the rest of the packability is in this main compartment. And one of the biggest things, or one of the biggest issues that I had with this pack in general is right from the start, I had issues getting this zipped and unzipped. So I left it unzipped for right now so that you can see the problem that I ran into, because sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It was a lot harder for me to get this zipped up right when I first started testing, but as I used the pack more, it started to break in a little bit. And so that's definitely something that's great to see. But what is still happening to me is when you zip around a corner, specifically this corner here, you can see all of that piping that's giving that zipper a little bit of extra structure just starts to get in the way. And so I would get caught around this corner and it would be kind of hard for me to actually get it into place. And so I would need to kind of like tuck my fingers in there and make sure that I, push it out of the way a little bit. And so that was a little bit inconvenient. It made access a little tough. Like I said, it broke in over time. So it stands to reason that the more you use this pack, even beyond a 2-week period, that it'll get a little bit easier, but just something that I wanted to note. So we have this zipper kind of goes in like it goes back towards like the actual shoulder straps here, which gives you a sort of bucket shape on this front panel, and that has a function. So kind of opening this up here, talk about these pockets on the front. This mesh pocket is new, so it's just zippered. And then what's nice about the zipper being on the top here versus this one, which is currently on the bottom, but it depends on how the bag is, but depending on the orientation of the bag. What's nice about the zipper here is that when you flip this open, you can really quickly grab whatever's on the inside. So this is specifically really great if you have the pack open like this. You can see it's just like easy packing and grabbing from there. And then I was able actually as well, if I just like opened up the pack really quickly and it falls over a few times. But if I opened up the pack really quickly, I would just kind of grab what I needed, even if it was still standing up straight. So even with that zipper being on the bottom, it was still really functional no matter how I was kind of accessing it. And then with this pocket here, this top pocket, this is the same pocket as on the previous model. And so this might look familiar to you, but in here, I just sort of used it as like a tech pouch dump pocket. This is a 3D pocket. So between these two here, they don't eat into the main compartment space. They actually come out, which is why you get this shape of this the front of the pack here. And so that's really great for larger bulky items, and they're not going to get in the way of that main compartment, which makes it really handy. So you can see here, it gets really shallow on the front of the pack. And so this sweater is kind of popping out here, but I can pull that off to the side. And you can see that it gives you sort of like a bucket shape without being a full bucket shape because you get the angle of that zipper there. So taking out these packing cubes, it is really nice and easy to stuff this main compartment. So on the back here, we have a laptop sleeve. This is nice and padded with a little loop here to easily, pull it out and take your laptop out. This is a 16-inch, and you can see that it did block this top pocket a little bit. And so it is really great for smaller devices. So I'm going to pull this out here, and you can see how my 13-inch fits in there nice and snug. And then this pocket here is the quick grab pocket. This is where all of that capacity is. On the top of it here, we have a couple of loops if you wanted to attach something. And then underneath you have access to the frame sheet. And then as well, you have a pass through with the harness system. There's you stick your hand under and there's a hole here and a hole here. And that actually goes to the shoulder straps. And through the back here, you can feed out a water bladder tube. So you can actually use this laptop compartment as a water bladder as well. So in just terms of getting everything in here, you have a lot of options for storage. And the addition of this extra pocket is really a game changer. I loved it a lot, actually. So it's just like a very slim pocket, not a ton going on, but it's really great for small items that you just want to grab and kind of keep separate from this top one. So there you have it, the EVERGOODS Civic half zip 22 liter. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.